Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today is Thursday morning. It's about 9 a.m. and it's kind of a gross day today. It's super rainy, super gloomy, like cold, windy. It's just kind of matching my mood for today. So I guess it's somewhat appropriate. I am in the car, as you can tell, driving to Roswell. I have my 3-month follow-up with my oncologist. I've been seeing him every 3 months since my radiation had stopped. And today's kind of a big day. And not in a sense of me looking forward to it. I've had a really hard time sleeping last night. I've been kind of dreading this day for actually all throughout my pregnancy. Basically today we have to have a conversation of when I'm starting treatment back up today, or when that's going to happen. Originally, my oncologist said when we found out that we were pregnant by surprise, after I can't be on the treatment during my pregnancy, and I'll give kind of a recap on that in a second, but sorry this is so shaky. I have like not an appropriate holder for this, and this road is pretty bad. So after like the 4th trimester, my doctor said we would probably put me back on this treatment. And basically the treatment that I've had and the one that I am currently on now, or will be again, after my really heavy duty chemo that was 18 weeks long, I had my double mastectomy, I had 30 radiation treatments, and then the last part of treatment is endocrine therapy. It's a form of chemo that I receive every month that shuts down my reproductive system. I get an implant injected into my stomach every month, and then also I have to take a pill every day. And that essentially puts me in full-blown menopause. So the original plan was I was going to be on that for 5 years. And then about 2 years into my treatment, there were new studies that came out and said that 10 years is really now the standard of care. Which sucks for me because my body, being 30 years old, it doesn't tolerate the treatment well. If you look up like menopause and symptoms and side effects, I have every single one of them times 10. Like, it's really bad. So there's actually there's 2 different types of treatment. I can do tamoxifen, which will essentially kind of do the same thing, and I'll have still a lot of the same symptoms, or the anastrozole and Zoladex, which is what I'm doing. It is the more aggressive route. So in one way, I'm kind of putting myself through it, but I figure if I'm still going to have the same symptoms, why not go for the one that's like really heavy? So there's been conversations with my oncologist in the past because I don't tolerate it well. I'm absolutely miserable from it. I have night sweats so bad that I have to change clothes 3 times in the middle of the night. My hot flashes are so bad that I feel like I'm going to pass out. I have to take gabapentin for my hot flashes, which is like kind of like a sedative almost. So I have to like ease my way into it, and it takes 3 weeks for it to really work. And it's like my whole life changes, and not in a good way. So, and it doesn't just affect me either. It affects Eric as well, because it just does. I mean, for every reason that you would think. So when I was pregnant, it took a while for my hormones to kind of even out and get back to normal. And then adding pregnancy hormones, it just kind of threw me for a loop. But I really never felt better. Like when people would ask how I was feeling, I would tell them like, it's the best I've felt in 4 years. And it was the truth. I mean, I actually felt like a normal 30-year-old again. And it's really hard because today I have to go in there and figure out when I'm going to subjectively put myself through that again. And it's one of those things, like, I know that it has to be done. and we have this beautiful miracle baby, and he is so amazing. Like, I am so obsessed with my child. It's unbelievable. He's so perfect and so good and so chill. He's just like Eric and I. Like, he just makes our hearts so happy and full. So today's conversation is going to bring up a lot of questions that I was never going to be faced with. I mean, we were never supposed to be able to have a baby in the first place. And now that we have him, it's like, I want to, what is this guy doing? Oh, good Lord. Anyways, this guy has no idea where he's going through the tolls. So now, you know, my pregnancy was perfect. The birth was perfect. It was cesarean because he was breached, but everything was perfect. Like, we were waiting for like something to happen the whole time, and nothing happened. Like, it was incredible, and I loved my pregnancy. I never thought I'd be the person to say that, but I really did. And so now, I mean, before Xavier was even born, people would ask us, oh, you're gonna have another? You're gonna have more? And I'm like, slow down. Like, I haven't even had him yet. Like, there could be complications, there could be issues, and people seem to forget that he was never supposed to happen in the first place. So, but because I think everything went so well for us, and I just did so well with pregnancy, that I think people forget that, like, it was never supposed to be in our, you know, future. So now I'm faced with all sorts of different questions. I mean, when I saw my OB at 6 weeks, the first thing we talked about was family planning. And those are things that I haven't had to think of for the last 4 years. It just wasn't an option. So it was off the table. And now that's all I think about. You know, on one hand, I feel like I should be grateful because he's so perfect and so healthy, and like, I should, you know, just be happy. But at the same point, like, I would love to be able to give him a sibling. You know, I grew up with a younger sister. We were 21 months apart, and, you know, don't get me wrong, we fought like cats and dogs growing up. But now, like, we're super close, and we get together with the babies, and she's got 2 girls, and it's just this incredible feeling that, like, I feel like my life is complete, but also I feel like I want to have another baby, like 100%, without a question. I would love to be able to do that for him, and not just for him, but for us and our family. And I don't know, it's a lot, and it's too much. Like, it's too much to have to think about. And it's not just me making that decision. I mean, it's Eric too, you know? It's like we just had this baby, and now we have to make a decision on whether we're going to have another or not, when we never even planned on having him in the first place. Ugh, it's too much. So today's conversation is going to be, I guess it'll depend, number one, how my blood work comes back. And if it comes back okay, and it has throughout my whole pregnancy, like, every time I've gone to see my oncologist, everything's been perfect. Like, my counts, my blood work, like, everything's been good. They don't do scans because I'm not 5 years out yet. And if they find something microscopic, there's nothing they can do about it. So they just monitor through blood work, which, if something shows up, it'll show up there. So I need to ask him, I don't know, I guess if we do decide to have another baby, it will have to be sooner than later, because the longer I wait, the longer I'm off treatment. So if I'm all over the place. If my oncologist says that he doesn't feel that we shouldn't, you know, there's a bunch of different things. Like, I'm 3 weeks, or, well, almost 3 months postpartum. So my OB said it would be safe, because, especially because I had a C-section, you really wait a year until you try, like until you have another one or become pregnant again. So the question is, I'm 3 months postpartum now. Do I start my treatment back up and then like go on treatment for another 6 months, and then when I'm 9 months postpartum, come off treatment and hope? I mean, I got pregnant in 8 weeks after I had my last injection. So, but what are the odds of that happening? There's just so many variables. And then, I don't know, and then do I go off and then my body's just going to be all over the place and not know what the hell it's doing? Or do I, so then if I come off of it, when originally we had talked about this treatment, he had said that if we did ever want to get pregnant, it would take 6 months for my body to go back into its normal cycle again, like with my menstrual cycle. And again, when I got pregnant last time, I didn't even get a period. So I never would have known that I was pregnant unless I had that testing done. So do I go in and start treatment again and then go off? Like, is it even worth it to do that? Or do I just stay off treatment and then start trying it like 9 months? Because I'm sure obviously we won't get pregnant in the first month. Like, I don't think that really happens for a lot of people. And then once, if I were to get pregnant again, which who even knows if that's a possibility? Like, if I do get pregnant again, then, carry the baby, and then after, technically the 4th trimester of that one, then go back on treatment. I don't know. I have to go back on treatment. I don't think it's an option for me not to. And I asked him before, if I go on treatment, or if I were to go off treatment, just because my quality of life, suffers so much from it, what percentage is that helping with the recurrence, being a lower factor? And he didn't really give me an answer. It was more when we do chemo, it lowers your risk by this much. And then adding the mastectomy and then the radiation, it all plays a part. But at the end of the day, if all of this treatment and all of this crazy only gives me a 2% chance or a 5% chance of my recurrence not happening, is it even worth it? And yeah, I now have a child to think about, and I have a family now. Not that Eric and I alone weren't a family, but it's more than just us now. And I lost my dad at 14 from cancer, so I know what it's like growing up without a parent because of that. But it affects me so greatly that, is it worth being miserable for that low of a percentage? I always thought that, I would just handle it and do it because that's just what you do. My oncologist is one of the top oncologists in the country. If he tells you to do something, you do it. And that's been, my motto the whole way, through all of this. But getting a taste of what it feels like to feel normal again, it's a really hard thing to, purposefully go back to. I went in blind before. I didn't know what to expect, and now I know what it's like. And the first year of being on it was horrible. So many adjustments for my body, and it just, I don't like any of this. I don't even know how to bring this up to Eric. And that's the hardest part. He loves the baby so much. And I always knew he'd be such a great father. But I think he's going to think that I'm pushing our luck by trying for another. But I know what it's, I don't know. I love having a sister so much. I can't imagine not having a sibling. you know, and we don't live, sorry, I'm trying to find tissues. Like, I don't know, like we don't live in like a normal development. Like we have neighbors, but we don't, you know. I want him to grow up with other kids, and unless we'd have to move, you know. And then even if we did wind up having another baby, we'd have to move anyways, because we have a 4-bedroom house, but 2 of the rooms are upstairs and they're not safe for a child. Like one, they have separate staircases to go up into. One has a balcony, a 2nd-story balcony that's over the kitchen with a concrete floor. And then the other one has 3 sets of windows that go all the way down to the floor. Like, there's no way, and a spiral staircase to go up to. Like, there's no way children can stay up there. And Xavier's room is not big enough. I mean, it's almost 12 by 12, but it's not big enough for 2 kids. Ugh, it's just way too much to think about. So I'm almost there. I'm gonna be there for hours. I can't film inside because it is a hospital, but they're really goofy about that. I don't know. I hope I don't forget to ask him anything, because every time I go there, I'll like put notes in my phone and, you know, things to ask him, and I never ask everything that I'm supposed to. I just forget. Because I get there, I'm just a scatterbrain. So my appointment's at 9:20. I got about 5 minutes to get there for a phlebotomy. So I go get blood drawn. And then I have to wait about an hour for that to process, and then I'll meet with a nurse first, and then my oncologist. So that's what we're doing today. All right, well, I'm done at Roswell. I was there for 2 hours, which is not unusual. They're always backed up, which is why I always have to go there on my day off, because you just never know how long you're going to be there for. So I'm on my way home now. Something that really aggravates me is, and I don't know why, I've been with this oncologist for 4 years. He knows everything about me. And every time I go in, almost every time, they send in a different doctor from medical school, which I get. Like, I understand they have to practice, like, somehow. But now I have to explain my whole diagnosis. And they have the papers right in front of them. But I have to explain everything to them, which is just super annoying. Like, I've already waited there an hour, and now I have to talk to this person that had absolutely nothing to do with my treatment. Which, it sounds so stupid, but it's just, like, aggravating. Like, I just want to see my doctor. Anyways, it's probably just the mood that I'm in today. It's still pouring outside, which is fitting. So the conversation with him, blood work came back fine. You know, and the first thing he had asked about was family planning. So I had expressed to him my concerns and, you know, kind of what I was thinking about. And, you know, just wanted his input. Like, basically, just tell me how it is. If you don't think I should have another baby, then tell me. If you think that I should, but I should be on some form of treatment until we decide again, then we'll do that. Or if I should just be right back on the Zoladex and an Anastrozole, you know, because it's like the most aggressive, then we'll go that route. So, you know, then we talked about me having a hysterectomy. Like, if I'm just going to be in menopause for the rest of, you know, for the next 5 years or whatever, why not just take everything out? but I do have, well, I guess when I brought that up, he's like, I don't think that that's necessary. Like, who recommended that? And I couldn't really remember. I just remember it was a conversation that I had at one point, because I'm like, if I'm going to be in menopause until I'm 40, 45 years old, like, why would I go off the meds and then wind up going into menopause again, like, whenever it naturally happens? Like, but do I really want to suffer longer than I need to? So he said that he's fine with me trying for another baby. And I told him that, like, he's totally okay with it. Like, no inkling of, like, any concern, because everything went so well this time. Now, when I told him that it would be sooner than later, like, I didn't know if it would be the right thing to go on some sort of med, whether it's tamoxifen or the anastrozole and Zoladex, for 3 months, maybe 3 months, and then I'd have to be off of it 3 to 6 months, while trying, before, like, my cycle comes back. So I'm like, is it even worth it for me to go on it for 3 months? And he said, and again, none of this is set in stone. Like, I haven't even had this conversation with Eric yet. But, like, I'm just trying to think of all the different, like, options or scenarios that I would have to be faced with. So basically what he said, it's not clinical, his answer, it's more intuitive. He said, I don't want you to not be on anything. He said, I need you to be protected for a little bit. So, and then I told him, I obviously, like, my quality of life suffered when I was on the Zoladex, which, if he thinks that's what I have to be on, then it is what it is. But if he thinks that I can do tamoxifen, like, I just need to be guided in whatever direction I need to go. So he said he wanted me to be protected, and he wants to put me on tamoxifen, which, again, my hot flashes would wind up coming back, my periods would go away, but I guess it's not as harsh. So then I asked him if, say I go home and I talk to Eric, and, we decide that we're definitely not going to try for another, do I go back on the more aggressive treatment? And he said, you get more bang for your buck. But I know with how I deal with it, or lack thereof, he goes, I wouldn't say you have to do that either. Like, if I just wanted to stay on tamoxifen, and he said he's totally okay with it, because he knows I don't tolerate it well. So now, then I asked him, like, if one way or another, if I start treatment up now and we don't have another baby, or we do wind up having another baby and then I start back up again, how much longer do I have? Like, how much longer do I have to do this? Now, I already put in over 3 years of this treatment. So is it, like, prorated, and now I can, not have to go as long? Like, I only have to do another 6 years? And he told me the recommendation and, like, the standard of care is still 10 years. So I just looked at him like, that doesn't really answer my question. Like, I know it's 10 years. Like, I'm not assuming that they dropped it back down to 5. But, like, how long will I have to be on it? And he said he would keep me on it for another 8 to 9 years. So essentially, it's like I'm starting all over again. It just sucks. I miss feeling like I do now. I miss feeling like a normal person. And again, I'm here, I'm alive, I'm well. I shouldn't complain, because he is the one who saved my life. But It just sucks. I know that there's people out there that have it so much worse than me, and I should be thankful. And it's not that I'm not. It's just a hard thing to go through. And I'm just not ready for it again. Not that you're ever ready for it, but, you know, I guess being miserable is better than being told you have cancer again. I don't know. It's just so much to think about. It's crazy. And I don't even know, like, on my way home, Eric's waiting for me, and like, he's off on Thursdays, so we're gonna go, like, have a nice day together. He wants to go to the mall, which is insane. Like, my man loves to shop. So he wants to go to the mall and grab lunch and take the baby with us and have, like, our first family mall excursion. And, like, I don't even know what to tell him. I don't know if I just go in and tell him the whole thing. I don't know if I just tell him that, you know, they sent in a script for tamoxifen and I'm starting that now, or, you know, I don't want to put pressure on him, but I don't want us to rush to a decision either. And it's not like we have to, like, because it's not like I'm stalling treatment to figure out what we want to do. But I also, like, want to know what we're doing too. And it's so crazy because we just had a baby, but I'm such a planner, and it shouldn't matter. Just all over the place. I just want to know, like, where his head's at. And I guess I don't want him to, like, jump to, not conclusions, but jump to, like, one decision. Like, I want him to think about it, like, really think about it. I don't know. I don't want to be emotional about it. It's just so hard. Like, it's just such a tough, not a tough decision. Like, I guess because I have the option. Like, if he would have just told me, no, like, you have to go back on and you have to stay on for 10 years, and, like, that's it. It would have, like, I would be sad, but at least I wouldn't have to make that decision. I don't know. I need a drink. Nice margarita. Anyways, I don't know. I have to go back to work in, like, 2 weeks. I'm dreading that. So now, that's the other thing. Like, I'm dreading going back to work. Not that I don't like what I do, and not that now I'm going to be starting this treatment, and I have to go back to work on top of everything else. I don't know how I'm going to feel being on this. I don't know. I'm so nervous I'm going to miss things with him, and Eric's off on paternity leave for 10 weeks. So it'll be nice that he'll be home with him. But, like, where are my tissues? I love spending every day with him. I don't want to not be with him. And I know we would wind up doing daycare anyways, like, just for socialization, and I think it's really good for him. Like, it's an actual school, so I'm not opposed to that, but I just wish not now. I wish I could just wait, like, at least the first year with him. But then I'd probably never want to go back anyways. I'm just nervous about going back to work, and I don't have, like, a normal schedule, and I don't even know if they're going to allow me to work the hours that I need to in order, like, to have him in childcare. You know, so it's like, I'm nervous that at some point my job is just going to be like, you know, it doesn't work for us anymore. Ugh, it's too much. It's all too much. So, I guess, I don't know. There's not really much more to say. So what I'll do probably is start my tamoxifen today. And then I guess give an update on how my body's doing with that. Probably give an update of some sort of my conversation with Eric. I don't know how much detail we'll get into today, but probably talk about that at some point. So, this is not my favorite thing to talk about, of course. I'd rather talk about baby stuff, but I think it's important for people to see, you know, just the decisions that people have to go through or make, you know, when they're in treatment. So, I will, what an ass. I hope this, I don't know, I hope it helps someone. I hope that it kind of gave you an idea of things that I'm facing, you know, 4 years after my diagnosis. Like, it's not just a one and done, you know, thing. It carries on for years after, really for the rest of your life. So I hope this helps someone, at least. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so you can follow me along all this crazy that we're going on. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, bye.